Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Paw Talk, which is our monthly educational webinar. I'm Dwight with Centinela Feed and your moderator for tonight. As usual, we'll be keeping the presentation to about 15 to 20 minutes with a short Q&A at the end. So feel free to type in any questions that you have during the presentation. If we don't have time to get to your questions at the end, we'll be replying to all unanswered questions via email. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce Krista Jensen from Open Farm. And Krista is the Southern California Territory Manager and has been with Open Farm for 2 years. So we've been carrying Open Farm products now for several years. And one of the things that I really appreciate about Open Farm is their full ingredient transparency resource, as well as their ongoing commitment to sourcing sustainable and ethically raised proteins. So I will allow Krista to expand on that. So Krista, go ahead and take it away.
All right, well, let me share my screen here. And let's start. Oh no, okay. Not working again. I apologize for this. This happened last time and it's not letting me start there we go. All right. So first of all, I want to thank you all for joining us this evening and learning a little bit about Open Farm. I realize everyone is busy with the holidays. So again, want to thank you for joining us, and hopefully you'll take away a little bit more information from Open Farm after this presentation. So I wanted to start out with just a little bit of history on how Open Farm started. So those Jacqueline and Isaac that you see there, those are our amazing founders and leaders. Jacqueline is our Chief Brand Officer. Isaac is our CEO. And about 10 years ago, they adopted their pug, Bella. And they were looking for a pet food manufacturing company that ethically sourced their proteins, that were sustainable, that had transparent ingredients, and there wasn't anything out there like that in the market at that time. So that was really their aha moment to get going with Open Farm. So Open Farm launched in 2014. We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. And our mantra is do good for the planet and pets. And we started with 3 grain-free SKUs, and now we have over 180 SKUs across all product categories. So we've seen tremendous growth in the last 10 years, and we're really excited about where Open Farm is going. So like I said, our mission from day one is let's do some good for animals and our planet. And how do we do this? We do this and deliver on this through our Open Farm promise. And I'm going to talk about the 4 pillars of our Open Farm promise, which is nutrition, animal welfare, sustainability, and transparency. So I'll start with nutrition. And basically, you can see here, we go to the ends of the earth to source the cleanest ingredients for all of our recipes. All of our proteins are all animal welfare certified. All of our meats are pasture raised and grass fed. And all of our fish is sustainably sourced. So all of our fish is wild caught. We don't use any farm raised fish. So all of our ingredients are very, very pure and clean. We also include a lot of functional superfoods in our recipes, including ingredients like turmeric for inflammation, taurine, coconut oil, pumpkin for digestive health. So every single ingredient actually serves a purpose in all of our recipes. We don't add ingredients just to add ingredients, so no artificial flavors or colors, no corn, wheat, or soy. All of our recipes are very, very nutrient dense. We use non-GMO fruits and veggies and organic produce in all of our freeze-dried recipes. And we really try to be environmentally conscious. We just launched two new treat recipes that where we're actually using upcycled ingredients. We're using apple pomace and rice bran as two upcycled ingredients. And last year we launched a sub-brand called Kind Earth, where we introduced an insect-based kibble for those dogs that may be allergic to every other meat and poultry on the planet, as well as a plant-based recipe within that Kind Earth sub-brand. So we're really trying to do our part to be environmentally conscious. So you can see this is our array of product, and we don't skimp on delivering best-in-class nutrition across our treat line, our supplements, our kibbles, our toppers. You'll notice that in every single package and product category, our meats are certified humane. You can see by reading the ingredient panels that we are using very nutrient-dense ingredients, lots of good non-GMO fruits and veggies. So every single recipe is crafted with purpose. I do want to talk about animal welfare. We are the leader in animal welfare. I think we were one of the first companies to make animal welfare the core of what we are about. And I want to kind of share this slide with you. I found it very, very interesting. You'll see that North Americans consume 9.5 billion chickens, turkeys, pigs, and cows, which is an amazing amount of meat. And about 25% of that actually goes into the US for pet food manufacturing. But the sad part is that a majority of those animals are raised in industrial settings. So for instance, they're not free to roam. They live in cages. There's tail docking and beak trimming. They're shot up with antibiotics. It's a horrible, horrible environment that these poor animals are raised in. But the unfortunate part is not many food brands are actually prioritize this. And what we found in our research is that if 87% of pet parents, if they would switch if they knew that the company prioritized ethical sourcing. So I'm really proud to work with Open Farm and know that animal welfare is at our core and is our #1 priority. So some of the standards that these certified humane farms have to follow, obviously no antibiotics or hormones, they eat a nutritious diet, they have plenty of space to roam, they actually get continuous sleep, no tail docking or beak trimming, and there is a short duration to processing. So these certified humane farms, they actually have to follow a very strict protocol. This is just a small bullet point view of what they need to do, but they are actually third-party audited once a quarter to make sure that they are following that protocol. So we don't go out and source a certified humane farm and then just call it a day. They're actually third-party audited once a quarter. So it's really, really important to our company and our mission. Sustainability is the third pillar of our company. Again, very, very important to Open Farm. We work with a firm called Oceanwise for our sustainable sourcing of fish. And what they do is work with us to make sure that we don't overfish certain fish populations. So we have a kibble formula called our whitefish kibble, and that's actually on purpose. So some lots, the fish could be herring. Some lots, the fish could be mackerel. Some lots, it could be cod. It really just depends on the fish that is available to us. That Oceanwise gives us direction to fish out to make sure that we are not overfishing that fish population. Also, waste reduction. We work with two incredible firms. One is TerraCycle, the other is How to Recycle. TerraCycle, you'll see on a lot of our packaging, it's that symbol there. And what you can do as a consumer is register on TerraCycle.com, register an account. And what you can do, you can save up all of your open farm kibble bags. And then when it's time to send them back, you can reach out to TerraCycle and they'll actually send you a call tag. You can return those bags, and TerraCycle manufactures furniture out of our bags. So it's a really nice partnership we have, and it's good to know that our bags or we try to make sure that our bags are not going into the landfill. We also work with How to Recycle. You'll see this symbol on our supplements, on our bone broth, on some of our Tetra Paks. And eventually all of our packaging will go to How to Recycle, but it just makes it easier for you to recycle the packaging. And what you can do is just take it to any grocery store that has a blue bin for plastic recycling and drop it off there. And it just will be easier for you to recycle. To be honest with you, with TerraCycle, we only get about a 4 to 6% return rate on that. So that's why we are moving over to How to Recycle. And then carbon reduction. I mean, we are working to reduce our carbon footprint by 42% by 2030. And we are already working with our co-manufacturers to do so. They're incorporating electric vehicles. We've bought renewable energy. So we're really, really working on reducing our carbon emissions. We are also going zero waste to landfill by 2025, and that's honestly right around the corner, but I do believe we'll get there with our plans that are in place. And then last but not least, transparency. Dwight touched on this earlier on in the meeting, but I think this is a really, really fabulous tool that everyone can use to see where all of Open Farm's ingredients come from. So we just launched our QR codes on a lot of our packaging, and you can go ahead and scan that QR code and see what the source of origin of the ingredients are on the latest lot, for instance, with our cod skins. It'll also give you our animal welfare standards, third-party audit information, which is kind of cool. It'll also tell you how much carbon emission is emitted through the manufacturing process, as well as the production date. I don't know if there's another pet food company out there that is as transparent as we are with where we source our ingredients. So it's a pretty nice little tool. It's also very educational. I highly recommend you checking it out. If you wanted to dig a little deeper, there is a lot code that is also included on all of our packaging, and you can go to our website, openfarmpet.com, and actually type in the lot code. And it'll give you the source of origin of the ingredients for the specific product that you have, but it'll also show you the safety test results and the third-party audit information. So if you really want to take a deep dive and kind of learn where where we get our ingredients from and see the safety test results and everything like that. It's really fascinating. So, and with that, there's our full product line. So Raw Mix was a introduction earlier this year. It's fabulous. It's a kibble and freeze-dried combination kibble that is really resonating well in our dog market, Kind Earth, freeze-dried. So we offer a full line of kibble, toppers, gently cooked, rustic blends, all with certified humane meats, non-GMO fruits and veggies, very, very clean ingredients. So, any questions?
All right, great. Thank you very much, Krista, for that very informative presentation. And we do have some questions here.
Okay.
So our first question is, let's see, is meat the number one ingredient in open farm foods, and how important is meat protein?
Yeah, so meat is our number one ingredient in our kibble, in our gently cook, and our rustic stews. It's really important that dogs actually get their protein from an actual meat source versus like a chickpea or a garbanzo bean or a chicken meal or anything like that. And just a fun fact, like with our grain-free and ancient grain kibble line, the dog is actually getting between 85 and 90% of its protein from an actual meat source. So that's a pretty high percentage.
Wow, great. Now,
Yeah.
is there any, do they tend to eat less of the food with the higher meat content?
Yes, yes. So, like I mentioned, our food is very nutrient dense. So, with the nutrient density, if you were to look at our feeding guidelines on our packages, maybe versus some other brands that are out there, you actually feed less. So the nice thing too is that our kibble is it's got a very low glycemic index. So it's going to keep the dog and cat's blood sugar very stable, so they hopefully won't be hungry all the time and it'll stick with them. They won't have highs and lows.
Right. All right,
Yeah.
our next question is, let's see, do your cat recipes include ingredients that will help prevent urinary tract infections?
Yes, absolutely. So we include dandelion greens and cranberries in our cat recipes to help with urinary tract issues because, as we all know, cats won't seek out moisture. So we try to include ingredients to kind of help that keep that urinary tract clean and healthy.
Awesome. We have a question about bone broth. Is the bone broth similar to what is available at the market, and can bone broth be given to cats?
So our dog and cat bone broth is not similar to what can be bought at the market. The bone broth that you see at the grocery store contains a lot more sodium than what dogs and cats are allowed. Um, so keep an eye on that. But yes, our bone broth is definitely recommended for both dogs and cats. It's actually made in small batches. We only use 6 ingredients. We include turmeric, parsley, and cinnamon. Bone broth is wonderful for digestive health with the collagen that's included in the bone broth, along with the glucosamine and chondroitin for hip and joint support. So I always recommend adding bone broth to any dog or cat's meal.
Sounds good. All right, and then let's see, we have one last question pertaining to grain-in formulas. So I noticed you have, Open Farm has grain-in formulas. How is this different from the grain-free formulas?
Oh, okay, yes. So our grain-in formulas contain what we call ancient grains, which are grains like steel cut oats, quinoa, chicory root, very full of fiber, full of density. Um, all are really good for digestive health, and actually help with keeping the dog full. Our grain-free recipes do not contain any of those grains that I just mentioned, so they are absolutely grain-free.
Great. And is there any specific time you would recommend one over the other, or is it just preference?
Yeah, I think it's just preference, and if the dog has any allergies, perhaps, to any of the grains that we include in our formulas, obviously, I would recommend steering away from that.
Got it. All
Yeah.
right, very good. Well, that's all the time that we have for tonight. And once again, I would like to thank Krista for educating all of our guests tonight. And please be sure to keep an eye out in your email inboxes and our social media pages for next month's invitation to Paw Talk. And lastly, we would love your feedback so we can continue developing content that matters to you. So we'll be sending out a short survey via email. It'll only take a few minutes of your time to fill out, and you'll be able to get a 20% discount code as well for all Open Farm products, as well as your pet's favorite toys, treats, and supplies. So your feedback would be really appreciated. So again, I want to thank everyone for joining us, and we'll see everyone next month for Paw Talk. Thanks.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.